Hey folks, and welcome to What's New, the Peter Lerman Outdoor Radio Show. I'm your host, Peter Lerman, and this week we have the pleasure of speaking with a person that back in 2008 started to make his own soft plastic baits and decided to launch his own company called Angler's Choice. Dave McCready, the owner and operator, is here with us today to talk about his company, what products that they released this year, and what new products do they have coming for 2015. However, before we get to Dave, let's take a quick break and we will be right back.
George's Marine and Sports, making fun of reality. George's has 3 locations, their head office in Eganville, the largest showroom in Ottawa, and their new location in Kingston. George's sells everything you need for your boating and outdoor pleasure. Boats from Tracker, Nitro, Crestliner, Bayliner, Regal, and Sea-Doo. And they don't forget their line of outboards, Mercury and BRP. Livingston Lures. Livingston Lures is committed to bringing fishermen everywhere innovative, technologically advanced lures designed to flat out catch fish in fresh and salt water. With an exciting new line of crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, topwater baits, jerk baits, and wake baits featuring unique sound and vibration technology. Livingston Lures is set to make some real noise across the fishing industry. Gambler Lures, better baits, better fishing, better time on the water. Gambler Lures has one goal when it comes to our products, catching you more and bigger fish. Lose, building innovative products that are faster, lighter, and stronger.
Welcome back. As I said earlier, this week we are lucky to have Dave McCready, owner and operator of Angler's Choice. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So Dave, give our listeners a little background on Angler's Choice.
I got back into fishing really hard in 2007, 2008. I really couldn't find some of the colors I wanted in some of the soft plastics that I started fishing with. And I just started getting into a little bit of research into pouring my own baits. I didn't really understand that you could do that and things like that. And as I got further into it, it appealed more and more to be able to make some of the soft stick baits that I wanted in colors that I couldn't find anywhere, or to save a little bit of money instead of paying $10 a pack for 10 of them. Being able to make some of my own so I could fish the colors I wanted and stuff like that. And then I just started pouring for myself and my now tournament partner and one of my pro staff guys. He started testing some stuff for me in his hot tub in the middle of winter as we were playing around with it to make sure actions were right, salt content, and it was right. It wasn't going to blow apart on a hook as soon as you set the hook on anything or anything like that. And it just kind of snowballed out of there very quick.
Well, that's amazing. I know, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that are in that same boat that go, if I just had this in this particular color, but nobody wants to go out and pour their own. But well, it's kudos for you guys. I mean, that was something you guys wanted to do, and so this was back in 2008. So you guys have done, you're kind of relatively new into this business, I would assume, right?
Fairly new, yeah. Like when we started playing around with things, I started getting some lures out into other guys' hands that have been around bass fishing for years and years, and started getting some input from there, and it was fairly quick out of that I started Angler's Choice and was fortunate enough. A friend of mine run a tackle shop 40 minutes away from me, so he was able to let me put some stuff in his store, and from there we just kind of narrowed down things that worked, things that didn't, and kind of went from there, really.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I know you mentioned that you started with stick baits. Can you tell us a bit about your product line and what kind of baits do you guys have now?
Just going off the stick baits, we've got our Warthog line, which come in a 4-inch, a small 4-inch, then your standard 5-inch, a 6-inch, and a big fat 7-inch worm. And we've kind of deviated from the standard stick bait that you're going to see from many of the major manufacturers. Ours is more of a symmetrical design, so it's the one end is no different than the other end, and then we've also added bumps along the whole thing. Those serve just to add a little more destruction in the water column as it's falling, to give it a little more action as it's falling. We also run them in a super soft plastic with a real fine, almost like a powdered salt. So we're able to pack a ton of salt in it without having it tear apart so quick. From there, you get into some flipping baits, some largemouth stuff. We've got our speed bug, which is a very small, compact, it works perfect as a jig trailer.
Okay.
And the claws on it kind of almost react almost like a curly tail grub. They twist and turn and create a lot of commotion as the bait falls. And we have our 3.5-inch and 4.5-inch flapping craws, which are more of our Texas rig type baits. The claws on those, as they fall through the water, flap back and forth really, really wildly. Again, an awesome Texas rig bait to get the big largemouth in.
Now, do they come in two different sizes, or is
3.5 and a 4.5?
Excellent, right on.
3.5 is a smaller. Everything's scaled right down. It's not just a shorter bait. It's the body of it's narrower, the claws are smaller, everything. Really good trailer as well. And our 4.5 is a big fat bait. I Texas rig it more than anything with just a 3/8 or half ounce bullet weight and a 5/0 offset wide gap hook, and just fish it like that usually. So we get the craws there.
Mm-hmm.
Just checking. We've got our speartail worm, which is a 4-inch worm with almost it's almost shaped like a spear, really. Hence the name of it.
Right.
That's kind of our take on a popular worm down this way for vertical jigging walleye in the spring. It's where we sell the most of them too. There's a couple of shops right along the Detroit River. I use them widely throughout the spring, vertical jigging for walleye, and they do drop shot well. But as I said, a lot of the color patterns are geared towards what guys are using on the rivers, as well as our walleye minnow is a minnow type bait, done in a ton of really, really, really popular walleye colors, and it's the same thing. We use that primarily for vertical jigging walleye in the spring.
Well, that's good because there's a lot of. We're based out of. We're in Eastern Ontario. We're kind of in between Ottawa and Kingston.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of lakes around us, around our radio station headquarters here, yep. And there's a lot of guys that love to do walleye fishing, and so that'd be a good thing that guys should seriously look them up.
Yes. On some of the lakes up in that area, I understand it'd be a slightly different variation of how we fish them down here. We're fishing very deep, fast-moving rivers.
Right.
And we're fishing straight down from the boat, just drifting along in vertical jigging. From what I understand, it's a lot of lighter weight jig heads casting and hopping them along bottom and working them that way. They would serve well. I've had some guys take them up north and do well fishing for walleye in lakes up that way. Down here, the reason why we did it is we're sitting on the world-renowned Detroit River, where you get tens of millions of walleye in every spring.
Mm-hmm.
And the walleye fishing, I've never seen a place where you can go out and bang a limit, a nice-sized walleye in 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, wow.
So
there you go, walleye guys. If anyone's thinking of looking for a spot to go, I know around here everyone kind of hits the Bay of Quinte, but if you're looking to travel, take a look at that Detroit River.
Yes, it's an amazing fishery for spring walleye.
Right, because I know guys around here. I guess back in the Bay of Quinte, the opening weekend in May.
Yep.
I guess they got that Kiwanis Walleye World.
Yep.
And that there is packed. So I'd imagine the guys would be able to pick up some of your products and give it a try on the Bay of Quinte.
Absolutely. I've actually got a couple customers that come through every spring that are fishing that.
Oh, excellent.
That are running up to the Bay of Quinte to fish that.
Right on. Yeah, that's awesome.
Right on. I guess from there you get into our kill shot, our drop shot bait. It's kind of what's helped propel the business since we launched it for 2013.
Right.
It's kind of our take on a few different drop shot baits we were using throughout 2011, 2012. Myself and our kind of our head pro staff and my tournament partner would fish quite often together at night. He gets off work, we go out and have some fun, and we'd be using these baits and brainstorming the entire time of what we can do to make them better, what we can do to eliminate some of the problems that we were having, and a lot of them, the baits were too thick, they were eating up too much of the hook gap, snap. The shape of the bait, the overall profile of the bait wouldn't do what we wanted to really while we were fishing. So we spent a good year and a half brainstorming, and at the end of the 1 year, I decided to put some of our ideas down on paper and just draw it. So once I showed them, we kind of agreed that on a lot of the features of that kill shot, and I got our mold guys on it, and we went through a few prototypes, went through a few different tails, tried a few different things, and we stumbled on what we have now as the kill shot. And it's been a long process to get it going, and to get it to where it is, and it's so far it's been paying off in spades. It's my only go-to for drop shotting, really.
Well, I know I've used the kill shot for the last 2 years now.
Yeah.
And it's a phenomenal bait if anyone's never used it. And you love drop shotting for smallmouth, you really owe it to yourself to take a look at this bait. The tail action on it is as phenomenal as you're just dropping it down.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you've got current, do a lot of it on the St. Lawrence, and if you've never been on the St. Lawrence, there's current on there. I would imagine it's almost the same as the Detroit River, if not less or more. But the tail action on that is phenomenal. So. No, that's kudos to you guys for designing a great bait like that. And again, all these baits are hand poured, Dave?
Yeah, I make every single one of our baits by hand. Every one goes through my hand 7 or 8 times before it gets on the shelf.
So I mean, that's it's not just batch pouring here. So great quality baits and from a person that actually fishes with them, and it's not just a big company out of somewhere that pours it and don't even know where it comes from.
Yeah.
So
everything's done. I labor, usually from 7 or 8 o'clock at night till 2, 3 in the morning every day.
Well, thanks for taking some time to talk to us about that. Then,
no problem at all.
The other thing that I noticed on your website, which for our listeners, by the way, is www.anglerschoice.ca. We'll have it on our Facebook page after the show. So we'll put a link on our Facebook page to your site, Dave, so that if anybody has, any of our listeners want information or want to get in touch with you or any products, shipping, they can get that information. I wanted to talk about colors, but we'll get into the shipping and the other part of your website later on in the show. But I do notice that on your baits, you guys offer a wide variety of colors. Now, Dave, if I have a color that works for me, like you said, the reason you got into this is because you wanted a bait and you couldn't find the color you were looking for. So if I happen to have a bait or a worm that worked for me, 10 years ago, and I can never find that color again for my favorite bait, can I get a custom ordered color?
Yeah, all we'd ask is that you shoot us a quick email, because it's, the pricing is going to vary depending on how complex or what we're doing exactly. We do, as far as the industry goes, we've got some fairly low minimum orders that I require for a custom color. It's for the most part, it's just 100 pieces. We've got pricing for that particular bait online for 100 count. So it's just go by the 100 count on the website. If we're doing a full-on color match where you're sending us a bait to match, I do require a $25, almost like a setup fee. That's just, it's going to help me cover the cost of the plastic that I'm going to waste trying to match that color. It's not as simple as I can, stick it under a laser and it tells me what's in it or anything like that. I actually have to load up a batch of plastic and actually try to mix, however many colors it takes to get it together, almost like a chemist.
Well,
if I get a batch done and it's too far gone, then I basically have to scrap that, and that kind of helps cover that cost.
Well, that's not
once that color has been done, it goes into our database for colors, and we keep the formula and everything. So if you want you get that first 100 count and you use it that year, and the next summer you want to get more of them, it's just as simple as get 100 pieces of it, and we're good to go. You don't have to pay that $25 charge anymore.
Oh, excellent! That's good. And I mean, that $25, that's not unreasonable, because I mean.
No, I've had some where I've gone through $50, $60 worth of plastic.
There's some colors out there that are kind of extreme, or you kind of look at them and go, "What color is that?" Yeah. So and you guys are matching that, so that's